Hi there, this is Tyler Johnston, aka Stuart, and you're listening to How Are You Now, the toughest podcast in Letterkenny.
How are you now?
Good, and you?
Not so bad. That's Tiara.
That's Dean.
And we're doing, I'm not sure how.
A very special episode.
Yes, a very, very, very special episode.
A VSE.
I think you have to go to the clinic to get that fixed.
I was trying to think of something like in Nerds when Booger was like, "I'm a VIP, a very important penis." That's all. I was trying to think of some way to correlate that, but it didn't work.
Sure.
I am not a very important penis. My penis is in a drawer in the other room, or in your pants.
Could be there are multiple drawers.
Touchable penis.
So, anyway.
What? Oh, sorry.
Coin operated boy.
I missed you a little bit.
This is the children's episode of Letterkenny. We're going to be talking about Littlekenny today.
Woo, Littlekenny.
So Littlekenny is
adorable.
It is 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
They are all on Crave TV. They are on CBC TV, and the first 2 episodes are on YouTube. So, in order for us to get all 6 episodes, we went to Canada.
Yep.
And we watched them there.
Yeah, 100%. It's only a couple hours north. We just stayed in a hotel just to do this episode.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a sacrifice you got to make for quality entertainment.
Absolutely.
So.
Each episode's like 5-7 minutes long.
Oh, not even that.
Yeah, well, one was like 2 minutes, but there were a couple.
The longest one was 3.5 minutes.
Really? Was it I thought it was like 5 minutes.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
Yeah. And the first one was just all Wayne, little snippets of Wayne saying different things,
doing his kind of the same kind of thing that he does in Letterkenny. I almost said in Littlekenny.
Because it's like the opens.
Yeah,
it's like the little opens of what he normally does.
But it was like a junior version of it,
right? And he's got a little stutter, and it's really cute. And and it's my understanding that the characters that voice the characters in Littlekenny are the actual characters.
It seemed like it to me.
So,
Kiso definitely, it sounded like a mini Shorzy, really, because it's kind of that sound that he does for Shorzy's voice. But it was,
And that's something I want to get into in a little bit, because I had a thought on that. It was just,
the thing that really stood out to me, because this first episode really was just kind of Wayne riffing by himself, because he hasn't met anybody else yet. And it's the little tiny puppy next to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, even when he was a kid, he was raising puppies, German Shepherd puppies.
Little German Shepherd
pups.
Yep. So cute.
So cute. Even animated.
With their little tails and the flies flying around them.
And the little mini logo. Oh.
Then the second episode is...
I love the second episode.
We meet Daryl.
Yes.
And Daryl's sitting there drawing a picture of a cow.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Trisha
with its udder and its teats.
And it's got 6 teats.
Six teats
on that udder. So apparently Derry's a little confused about how many teats are actually on an udder, but that's okay. I'm guessing this is probably first, second grade.
Depending on how we see the age difference between Wayne and Katie.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing she's in kindergarten.
That's what I would guess.
And then I was thinking maybe 2nd or 3rd grade for the older boys.
Okay.
Because then you've got the bullies who are obviously at least a grade older than them, I'm guessing. Or maybe
Possibly.
just a year who've been held back. But theories.
Yeah. So we meet Daryl and the little girls that come up with Professor Trisha.
Mm-hmm. Miss Trisha.
Miss Trisha. I haven't heard.
I did that.
No,
whole time watching it.
Is
that Professor Trisha? Is that Professor? Blah 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 blah. Words.
And I honestly don't think that Miss Trisha is Professor Trisha.
Why not?
I think that Professor Trisha because it's an online. Professor Trisha has got an online women's studies group.
Okay.
So I just for some reason I just get the feeling that I'm not saying that it couldn't be. I just don't think it is. It doesn't.
Well,
it feels.
Let's look at it this way.
Yeah.
I was a preschool teacher for 17 years.
Yeah.
To this day, when I tell that to people, they don't believe me because if they've met me in real life, I am not seen as somebody who likes to play with little kids a lot.
No.
And like, my personality is definitely more geared toward what I'm doing now and the kids that I'm working with now. But again, I was a preschool teacher, birth to 3 for 17 years. And at the same time, I was taking women's studies classes and I was taking human sexuality and I was taking all of these
My point is that this is all taking in place in Letterkenny. Why would Squirrely Dan need to go online and not just go take the class?
But maybe he doesn't know that that's the same one.
Well,
this is a teacher that they had in elementary school.
I know, but I don't know.
And he's a grown-ass man.
I know, but
I don't remember the names of all my elementary school teachers. And they didn't say anywhere in this that Miss Trisha was Dan's teacher, just that she was one of the teachers there.
Yeah. No, she introduced him.
Did she introduce him?
Okay. In that last episode.
That's right. Okay.
So yeah, she knows him.
Well,
but that's.
I'm saying this as an elementary school teacher who, in an entire school year, there were several teachers I never had one conversation with in the same building as me. So, so a kid not knowing a teacher is not out of the realm of reality.
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. I just think it's. I think that
they do way too many deliberate things in this show for that to be.
Well, and that could be the case because one of the things that because we get to the twins that come up after the girls and they say that Daryl smells,
and they're making fun of because he's wearing his barn
clothes.
Outfit,
yep. Yeah, and Miss Tricia says maybe don't wear your barn clothes to school anymore. Yeah. Okay, and so he nods. Then the 2 bullies walk up. We don't know their names.
Nope.
But the way they talk reminds me of Shorzy. I mean, I'm sure it's Kiso who voices them. But
could be. Yeah. It very well could be.
The chirping that they do, I'm wondering if one of them is Shorzy.
Or if they're, on the hockey, one of them's on the hockey team, or if who are they going to grow up to be? Yeah, right. Totally.
So that was the thing that popped into my head about the twins. Then Miss Trisha with the girls walks up to Wayne and is trying to say hi to Wayne
to get Wayne to say hi to them.
Yeah.
Yes,
and Wayne just doesn't say anything. And then she
whole exchange is just
she encourages him and with this.
It's okay to be shy, but it's polite to speak when you're spoken to. Oh, we'll work on it some more in one-on-one time this afternoon. It's important to socialize, Wayne. Maybe if you make a friend or two, you won't be so shy.
All right, that whole episode, that whole scene just made me go, finally, they're basically confirming it to me. Right. Because students don't get one-on-one time with a teacher unless they're in special ed.
Yeah.
They really don't. There's not enough teachers for that to be a thing, even in a small town.
Yeah.
So he may not be autistic, but he's definitely selective mute.
Yeah.
Like you see, he doesn't say a word to anybody until they've established that they're good in his eyes, essentially. Yeah. So unless he's just talking to us because
so far he hasn't talked to, well, she's the only adult. He has not talked to her at all.
Right.
He's talked to the other kids, but not to any adults.
But think about when he met the other kids though.
Yeah.
Like in none of the interactions were him initiating it.
Right. True.
Unless it was the bullies who were picking on his sister.
Right.
Everything else was initiated by somebody else.
Which happens at the end of this episode. Katie's there and the bullies farting her eye.
Derry stands up to them.
Derry stands up to him. And, even though he's much smaller than them. And then Wayne, I don't know if those are rocks that he threw.
No, tennis balls.
Were they both tennis balls?
Yeah, because he then later when they're walking home, he's throwing the ball back and forth to Derry.
Yeah. So yeah, he pops them right between the eyes, both of them, makes them cry and run away.
And he'd been throwing the tennis ball against the wall when when Miss Trisha
It was just
came
the
out
sound that it made. I was like, was that a rock or what was that? Because it didn't have the sound of a tennis ball. I think that's why I was questioning it. So anyway, yeah. So,
but that's a good interaction that kind of proves my point, because even afterwards, even though Wayne saw that Derry had been defending Katie, he still was like kind of looking at him like, "Are you going to be okay?" He doesn't say anything to him. He just narrowed his eyes, and Derry's like, "Hey, can we be friends?" And Katie's like, "Yeah, okay, we're friends."
Yep.
And that's when Wayne's like, "Oh, okay."
And Katie doesn't say anything the entire any of these that she's in.
I fucking love it.
So yeah. The only thing Wayne says in that, it says, "Stay away from my sister."
Mm-hmm. But that's to the bullies.
And that's to the bullies
after they've run away.
Then they walk up and I don't remember exactly how the conversation starts, but it starts from Derry's side, Daryl's side of things.
Well, he's basically like, "Do you want to be friends?"
Yeah.
And then Katie's like, "Okay, we're friends." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
It's
and they
100%.
toss the ball back and forth to each other as they're walking away.
At that basic age in my head, like I'm remembering specific kids that I have had those conversations and seen those interactions happen with. Let's see. There was this one particular kid a few years ago. He'd be a sixth grader this year, I believe. But back when he was in second grade, he was selective mute. He had zero understanding of how to make and keep a friend. He was very rigid on all rules and got super freaked out if anything was out of the ordinary, like if a schedule wasn't exactly right. And you know, he still was able to do the work, and he didn't like fail any classes or anything like that because he was a very intelligent child, but he was so in his head, and his processing was so different than the other kids around him that this essentially was what he looked like to the outside world, just kind of sitting there playing by himself and, you know, what have you. And it's been over a year since I've worked with him, but at the time that I left, when he was still in fourth grade, he at that point was one of the most verbose children I'd ever met. He had lots of friends, although he was still having trouble like figuring out how to be a good friend. But again, like the conversations, it's one-on-one time, that's probably a social skill lesson that she's going to do with him. Or maybe he sees a speech therapist for selective mutism, because that's 100% something that could happen. So I love this episode because so many things that are in my mind like just clicked into place.
Yeah. I think this was definitely the one that had the most stuff, seemed to me anyway, the most stuff going on. I have the most notes about. But yeah, that's how that one ends. All the three of them walking off together,
and how they packed all of that into such a short little.
Episode 3, it's going back and forth between Wayne and Derry. And they're
like cold open type.
Yeah, and so one of the things that it starts off with Wayne talking about Trevor Risk asking if you want to see a mouse in his hand, and he holds open his hand and it just says "dink." Now Trevor Risk,
it's the only one-eyed mouse that I've ever seen.
That's the first one-eyed mouse I ever seen. Trevor Risk is the writer for Letterkenny. So I thought that was cute. But then it gets to Derry, and he says,
"There's scrambled egg sexuals on Channel 12 Friday nights if you're looking for the heebies to the jeebies."
The heebies to the jeebies.
See, and I was going to comment on the one that Derry said about touching tubes and Dad getting angry and Mom saying, "Well, you probably touch tubes too." I'm like, yes, I love this. Mom's just like, don't shame your child. And then, did you get the other one?
From this one? The only other thing that we talked about, I didn't do the recording of it, but we could talk about it, but is that
he mentioned Stuart Skinner.
Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure we found before as being Stuart's last name when we did Fart Book, but we'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah.
Anyone out there, if you know the answer to that, just let us know, because we're lazy.
Because I have not seen I've searched, and I'd never had Skinner as a last name for Stuart. So,
and that they shat kittens.
Yeah.
Or that the mom cat shat kittens. Right. But I don't think that's the way that works.
That's not how that works.
That was one of my favorites.
So that was a bunch of like Wayne Derry opens.
Yeah.
As you see in the regular show.
And it starts with Wayne. The first episode is just Wayne by himself.
Yep.
The second episode is, we meet
At the
some of the
school.
cast. The next one is Wayne now has a friend.
Yep.
So they're both doing the thing.
Yep.
And then the next episode.
Next episode is Daryl's first super soft birthday.
Super soft birthday. Well, not his first. It was already a tradition
Well,
because the bullies were making fun because they already
That's
knew
the
what
name
was
of
gonna
that's
happen.
the name of the episode.
Oh. You see, I didn't look at the names of them, but it's obviously not his first though, because they ask him, "Are you going to do
Yeah.
it like this again? Is it going to be like that again?"
So yeah, but that's what this epido's called. Is Daryl's first super soft birthday. Yeah, the episode
It didn't have the
1
name before that.
episode 1, 3, and 5 do not have names. They're
like cold opens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
so we have Daryl, then we have Daryl's first super soft birthday, and then the final episode is Daniel. So so Derry's gonna have his party, and he's gonna have a horse as a unicorn and all the cupcakes and cupcakes. So the stuttering is adorable.
And he says cupcakes a few different ways.
Yeah.
In this part, he
cake.
says it the same way twice, but then later he stutters at a different part of the word.
Yeah.
That was interesting to me. I don't know why that caught.
And so the bullies give him grief right at the beginning, and then they go to have the birthday party. Wayne and Katie are there. They're the only ones, and the bullies show up and start giving him grief. And Derry asks him if is it well.
Is my birthday party really crap?
It's a wee bit soft. But that's no reason for name calling.
A wee bit soft. So now we know it's a soft party.
Right. So I think maybe the super soft birthday, maybe it's the first super soft birthday in title.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they decide that they're gonna get after it.
Get back at the bullies.
Right. So what are we gonna do? Get after it.
Well, what do we do?
So they go track the bullies down who are in the creek.
They want to pull the legs off some toads,
Right.
some frogs.
And so right as they're about to start twirling the frog over their head, they get hit with stink bombs. And
I just would like to say that I am so thankful that when your children were young, the kind of Nerf weapons that they have these days were not around, because I can 100% see your son doing this like 10 years ago.
oh yeah.
Easily.
Oh yeah. And if you heard in that clip, there was some boy band music going on, and this is the only episode where there's actual music
Right.
that's not the little dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
the little scoring that it has. So, and I haven't looked up who this boy band is, but it sounds like an actual boy band, not something they just made up. But I mean, because the way Jared Kiso does things, it wouldn't surprise me that he got probably a Canadian boy band.
And also there were references to boy bands for Daryl's Super Soft Birthday in season 1.
Totally.
So it makes sense that, there's boy bands playing during the Super Soft Birthday.
Yep. And this is where Derry becomes Derry.
Yes, because of the spelling on the cupcake,
Right.
and then Katie just wipes off the L.
Yep. And so Derry is now Derry. So jump to episode 5.
We forgot one thing.
Go ahead.
After they beat up the bullies, Wayne invited them to the party.
that is right.
You guys want to come to a party? To a super soft party?
Birthday party?
Which is actually made me go, wait, that's not Tyson and Joy Point. No, because
Nope.
they didn't know them. But it's the exact same thing that, from, again,
It's his code.
season 1, episode 2.
It's the code of Wayne.
Once you fight, once you've settled your differences, now you can be friends.
Right. Once you've learned your mistake and have accepted it, I will invite you in. If you haven't learned your mistake. So the next one, episode 5 opens again.
References to both mom and dad in this opening, in these jokes.
Yeah. And another thing, and this one got me.
You wear your splash pants in class because you got Bugle Boy jeans and you don't want people thinking you're a rich kid.
No, what got me about that is Bugle Boy jeans haven't been popular since the 80s. And Bugle Boy, and I looked it up, Bugle Boy went out of business, went bankrupt in 2001. So...
Well,
So it's
this isn't a current.
I know. What I'm saying
it's
is,
a 20-year ago representation of them.
My point is we're always trying to figure out how old people are in this show. So I was like, okay, that's
I was doing
80s.
that too. I was doing that too because I knew the reference immediately because when I was a kid, Bugle Boy jeans were kind of one of those, not fashion, but like it was a higher end when, you know, you could buy jeans for like $10 at Costco or less than that at Costco. You could get the $30 jeans, which were like the Bugle Boys and the whatevers.
Jordache.
All of those. But and maybe in small town Canada, it went on another 10 years or so because I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be at minimum 15 years younger than me.
Could be.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Kiso is 30 something.
Well, yeah.
So
but,
in real life. So,
but again, we know, well, we've had confirmation now about Bonnie McMurray and how old
she's the only
is.
one. She's the only one that actually matches up.
Yes, true. Very true. So she is essentially the age her character is.
Right.
And in that time, she's only a couple years, quote unquote, behind them because she used to watch Wayne dance with his ex-girlfriend and be jealous. So the main characters, even though we don't know exactly how old they are, should probably be mid-20s at the most.
Right.
Maybe late 20s, like McMurray, if he's that much older than his sister.
True. So, yeah, that's all I had on that one.
Yeah.
And then we get to the final episode where we get introduced to Daniel.
Daniel's so cute with his little squirrel hat and his little Tupperware of cookies. I knew that kid too.
So yeah, the bullies come to pick on him.
Of course,
because
they
he's
do.
chubby.
Yeah,
unlike
themselves.
Yeah, but then right behind them, there's Wayne and Daryl. Just starting to chirp.
Oh, the first time they're doing their banter back and forth. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's like ain't nothing to get excited. It's like when the hockey players come up, boom, 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 boom. And
those two are fantastic.
Yeah, and then you two stood up for me, and that's what I appreciates about you.
And then Katie walking up and taking a cookie, and he blushes.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to dial that back about 20% there, Squirrely Dan.
He's got a name now too.
Wayne is the bestower of names.
Yes.
So yeah. That's
season 1, I guess, of Littlekenny.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do more.
It would be nice. Now, one of the things that and we haven't gotten this far into our show, but when we get to the point of the Christmas episode, the three wise men episode, there is a Littlekenny clip on the TV you can see going on.
Shut up.
Yeah. So
all right.
Yeah. So that was on Letterkenny before Littlekenny came about. So it was just something little. So yeah, it's there.
Nice.
But anyway, that's that. So yeah, thoughts, theories.
So I like that we're getting to find out how they met each other and how they became friends. And again, I really hope that Littlekenny keeps going because maybe it'll answer some of our famous questions from our podcast.
Yeah.
Like I really want to know if Miss Trisha is Professor Patricia.
Professor Trisha.
Professor Trisha. It feels too, they don't do things by mistake. They don't.
Too coincidental.
It's way too coincidental, unless that's why they did it.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes to, the fart book episode and Katie being last name of Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely to me an homage.
Oh, Wayne Campbell, hell yeah.
Yeah. To
Wayne's
Mike
World,
Myers. Yeah.
Party time, excellent.
Yeah, right. And yeah,
Fuck
I think it would be hilarious if Mike Myers were to come on the show at some
holy
point.
shit, please God, let this happen.
old man Wayne Campbell.
Oh, Jesus. Flashback episodes of nice guy or good guy Uncle Eddie.
Yeah.
He could come back as in a flashback of Uncle Eddie or something.
He could be
ghost.
flashback of Dad. Maybe Wayne is Junior.
Oh my God, I just got all cute inside. I got all like warm and fuzzy, like rainbows and
super soft birthday parties.
Super soft birthday parties. Yes, I'm full of cotton candy and rainbows and unicorns.
Cupcakes.
Unicorn sprinkles.
But yeah, I can't wait to hear what Katie's baby voice sounds like.
Right.
Because she's going to be adorable.
Right.
If assuming they do another season of that. So now one of the things that I heard that's different between animation in Canada and animation down here is even though actors up there are, and I don't know if this is true or not, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong or if I misheard this or misunderstand it. Actors up there, like down here, are in unions. Animation shops down here are union shops.
Right.
Up there, apparently they're not.
Really?
Yeah. And so it's a bit more difficult to do animation. Apparently that's why it took so long to get this out and completed. That's what I think I understood.
Oh.
Now, and I know Jared really likes to use Canadian talent, if at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that means that he's definitely not going to come down here to try to redo it or, but I don't know if that's fact or not, but that's something that I heard. So we'll see.
Man, you're so much more on top of all of that than I am. Like I understand why. Like you get to sit in front of a computer all day.
Well, I do nothing else but work and Letterkenny.
Yeah. And granted, I have a little
hobby.
bit more of a life. This is your hobby, exactly. And I love it and I really enjoy it, but I'm not into all of the research.
The minutia.
And like when you bring stuff up, it makes for really great conversations, but I don't need to know everything. So it's really cool when you bring up stuff like that. And then I'm like, every once in a while, I'll have something and I'm like, ha, I can tell you something that you don't know. That's about it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, I'm excited. I thought this was well done. It doesn't add a heck of a lot to
it's
the
a good
backstory,
start though.
but yeah, it's definitely a good start. I mean, if you think about it, it's 6 episodes, average
really
about
it's 3 episodes.
Well, if they average 3 minutes a piece, so a total of 18 minutes of footage that has been added, and half of that is just open stuff, open dialogue like Wayne and Derry do. It did. Now, one of the things that I would like to see in this for Letterkenny is I would like to see Squirrely Dan do an open at some point. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Or Katie even.
Or the boys.
What
the Hockey Boys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we kind of see them do that anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of their MO is that kind of fast riff.
Well, and that the whole reason or the whole thing, someone the other day was talking about main characters versus side characters on Letterkenny and usefulness of characters or whatever. And a lot of people, of course, are saying, no, this is ensemble cast. There's no main character, blah, blah, blah. But only Wayne and Derry did the opening.
Yeah.
Oh, so Wayne and Derry essentially are the main characters.
True.
Because they introduce one or both of them introduce every episode.
Yeah. And they've been in every episode.
Mm-hmm. And they're the only ones who have been in every episode, correct?
Believe that is true. I don't think Dan has been in every episode. I know Katie hasn't been in every episode. So because she was gone for a little bit
to
when
New York?
to her modeling. No, she just went into the city.
Into the city, that's right.
Which I believe should be Toronto, but I could be wrong. But that's because that's like the big city in Ontario, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure there's another.
I have no idea.
But anyway, I mean, big cities for us are kind of, we live in Seattle, so.
Seattle used to not be, this part of Seattle used to not be a big city. Now it's starting to feel like it's part of the city and it kind of blows. But.
It's when people keep populating.
But hey, I'm sitting in my retirement right now. So.
There you go. Pitter patter, let's retire.
Pitter patter, light rail goes through and we will talk about it. Mm-hmm. Because this house is not worth the land it's sitting on. The land, though. There's going to be like a high-rise condo here someday.
Ew.
I know, right? Ow. Ow.
Hard no. I don't know. It might be good white noise like going by.
Hey, no, I can sleep with the sound of the train every night. Dude, my favorite thing about visiting Chicago was actually having a hotel room that could hear the all of those above ground trains. I can't think of what the term is for.
The L train?
Yeah, but that's not
elevated train.
Elevated train. Thank you.
That's why they call it that.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
We have an elevated train here and we call it the monorail. So I don't know. And the light rail is sometimes elevated. Anyway, my point was when I was in Chicago, I slept with the window open so I could hear that all night. And it was fantastic to me. I mean, I was high enough up that, it wasn't completely unsafe to do that. But yeah, I like the white noise of the city, but without the people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the indistinct chitter.
Yeah. But not like next Saturday when we go to the concert and have to sit on a lawn with like 1,000 people. That's a different that's a different kind of city. And breathe, my dear.
Don't remind
me.
So,
anyway, thank you for joining us for our Littlekenny bonus episode.
Sure,
mini episode. I'm guessing this is going to be shorter than our usual episode, so we can still call it a mini episode.
Yeah. A little over 30 minutes.
And we season 4.
Season 4 will be coming out in about a
soon.
week.
Yeah.
A little over a week from now. I mean, I don't know. Are we putting this out this week?
Yeah, let's
sure,
do that.
Why not? Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Let's get her done.
Let's do it.
And by the way, we this coming Friday, we will be the official partner podcast of the Letterkenny subreddit. So there are almost 100,000 users on that subreddit.
Hi, Reddit. Hi. Oh, fuck.
So, yeah. I think it's going to be fun. I'm one of the mods on there now with some other great guys that are, and I think one gal that I think there are 5 of us, and we're all pretty progressive in our thought processes.
Yeah, I don't think that you'd be a part of something that was okay with all of the other stuff.
No,
I've seen you on the onlines when I get tagged in by accident.
No hard right J's. So,
that's right. That's what we're calling him now, right?
That's right. Yeah. Hard right J's. I mean, yeah, that's what it is. And I love Jay Baruchel, but he's great. He's funny as hell. And I'm looking forward to that episode as well. As well. Anyway, welcome to fucking Littlekenny. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of How Are You Now? If you like us, subscribe and give us a nice review. If you don't, well, we're not for everyone, but we thank you for listening anyway. If you'd like to contact us for any reason, we can be found on Facebook at How Are You Now Podcast. We can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at How Are You Now Pod and via email at howareyounowpod@gmail.com. We'd like to thank our good friend Jack Rainwater from the Hard Money Saints for allowing us to use their music for our intro and outro. You can find them on Reverb Nation at Hard Money Saints. See you D-Gen soon.